Okay, it should be live now. I'm going to try to do this properly this time. There, okay, perfect. Okay. No, it's not, right? Is it still good? Okay, good. So today, we're asking the question, why do companies expand internationally? So a few reasons. One, expand into markets and increase sales, control expenses, for diversification of products and resources, for competitiveness reasons. So we'll start with expanding markets and increasing sales. So by increasing sales, a company can potentially increase profit. You'll read later in your textbooks about Makeup Art Cosmetics, or MAC. It's a Toronto company. They've expanded internationally when they opened up in New York City, and now they have many international locations all over the world. You'd be maybe more familiar with Estee Lauder Cosmetics. So some companies expand markets by acquiring other companies. In '94, Estee Lauder acquired 51% of MAC and later bought out the rest of the company, so the balance of the company. This is partly the reason now why Estee Lauder is said to control about 45% of the entire cosmetics industry today. So number two is controlling expenses. So companies search beyond borders to decrease their costs by looking for better labor rates, more efficient technologies, less expensive tax structures, and closer proximity to natural resources. All companies expanding internationally have to make sure to carefully examine what resources they need, products, services, human resources, different parts or components, capital, technologies, and information. Things like that that help them make decisions about where best or least expensive resources are available. So companies may look for lower labor costs in other countries, or move manufacturing plants closer to natural resources, or just for investing into new technologies where more innovation is available. Outsourcing is also something we've all heard of, and it just means, you know, you're obtaining something by getting it from another source. But in international business, companies are often taking advantage of outsourcing human resources and customer service operations internationally, and that helps them produce work more inexpensively. Okay, so then diversification. Some companies enter specific international markets to diversify their products. So by appealing to different target markets, a company can increase their sales. So going back to the cosmetics example, Estee Lauder diversified their product lines by acquiring companies in different geographical markets to hit the cosmetic needs of different target markets. So, you know, both genders, different skin types, different skin colors, those kinds of things. Okay, then competitiveness. If the competition is operating abroad, then other companies must follow suit in order to maximize profits. If some companies in the same industry expand internationally, many companies are going to follow suit essentially for defensive reasons, because as global companies benefit from cheaper resources or labor, they can sometimes undercut the smaller businesses by having that competitive advantage in price. Okay, so then we go right into advantages of doing business here in Canada. I want to make sure you read through this section of your textbook. I've got it in a note later on in the slides here. So some of the advantages: number one, lower production and business costs. So comparing startup businesses in the rest of North America, Europe, and Japan, Canada's always been said to be the most cost-effective industrial nation in which to do business. And excellent human resources. That's basically due to Canada's high-quality skilled labor force, thanks to our high level of educational achievement and high number of first-class business schools. And then positive business climate. Canada's ranked, I think, 4th in the world with regard to our overall business climate, which is just a measure of ease that companies can run their business. Like how easy Canada makes it to run an effective and efficient business. Then number 4 here is seamless North American market access. So obviously with our physical proximity to the US, Canada, and our free trade agreement with the rest of North America, so NAFTA, make cross-border trade simple between our nations. And Canada and the US are the largest trading partners in the world. And business infrastructure. Infrastructure often refers to things like natural resources, water, roads, bridges, telecommunications, waste management, things like that. And we've got a very good infrastructure for business and just societal. And then quality of life. Couldn't find any updated data exactly, but I know in the 90s, Canada was ranked the best place to live by the United Nations for like 7 of the 10 years in the 90s. Okay, so methods of achieving a global presence. If a company chooses to enter the global arena, there's various strategies of expansion. So we'll go over a few of those strategies. So licensing agreements. Patent or copyright owner allows another organization, individual, government, or company to use their idea or invention for a fee or royalty. If you watch Dragon's Den, you've probably heard of different innovations, inventions, or ideas being brought up that the first question they ask is whether or not they've got a patent on the invention or innovation, and secondly, if they're willing to license it out to an already established company. Okay, franchises. So franchise is a type of business in which a company authorizes a group or an individual to sell its goods or services. The franchisee is the person who buys the rights, and the franchisor is the person who sells them. So the franchisor supplies training, store design, product line, and product line marketing. I don't think this is new to anybody. Top 3 franchises in the world right now are McDonald's just took over from Subway once again. So McDonald's first, Subway second, and KFC is third. Franchise is one of your less complicating ways to start up a business as an entrepreneur, but it can be very expensive because it pretty well always includes, especially with better known franchises, a very hefty franchise fee, as well as mandatory equipment, supplies, and training. So subsidiaries. Companies to go into expand internationally may establish a subsidiary or a spin-off company from the parent company or holding company that may or may not have the same name that already operates in a foreign market or in order to operate in a foreign market. So essentially a subsidiary company is a company that's controlled by another holding company. It can run as a separate company in a foreign market in order for its parent company to expand, or it may be an acquisition by its parent company or holding company. So a good example might be PepsiCo. We all know Pepsi. It's got many subsidiary brands. So Doritos, Starbucks, Fritos, Gatorade. Nestle is another big one. Okay, purchasing in foreign markets. So the purchasing of parts or materials from other countries for manufacturing in the home market. This is common in the automotive industry or the cell phone industry too. Essentially industries that create products with many different components or parts. So cell phone company might get parts from Southeast Asia. Then joint ventures. Joint ventures are when companies from two different countries, doesn't have to be from two different countries, but in order to expand internationally, that's what we're talking about when we're entering foreign markets. A joint venture refers to a company from, or companies from two different countries going into an agreement to produce a product or service together. So they share assets and control so that there's mutual benefit. Automotive industry is another great example here, where companies share technology and actual plants as well. So I have the Fiat logo up there. Used to be Daimler Chrysler was a great example of this. Now we've got Fiat Chrysler. BMW also entered into a joint venture with a Chinese company called Brilliance Automotive. So now it's called, yeah. Pardon me? Fiat is German, I believe. But anyway, BMW is German as well. And then they entered into a joint venture with a company called Brilliance Automotive in China. So now we've got BMW, Brilliance Automotive. And strategic alliances. A strategic alliance is when two or more companies agree to co-develop, co-produce, or co-market their products. So the length of an alliance can vary greatly, maybe short, maybe long. They enter into contracts with one another. Starbucks with Barnes & Noble booksellers, or in Canada, we've got Starbucks with Indigo. So you see them in Indigos and chapters. Another one would be Subway restaurants in Home Depot or Lowe's. Yeah, McDonald's and Walmart, yeah. So those are, just eateries partnering with big box, but that's an example of a strategic alliance where they can co-produce or co-market their products without taking away sales from one another. It increases their both their presence and their bottom line. Okay, so then we get into global organizational structure. This is something I'm going to have you research yourself for the purposes of this activity. Companies that are expanding internationally require an organizational structure that will accommodate and allow flexibility for a new focus or strategy. So when talking about organizational structure, we're talking about reporting lines, chains of command, and responsibilities. And in international business, they need to be clearly outlined for everyone in the various geographical and functional areas of the company to contribute to overall growth. Companies have a lot of different ways of organizing their resources, and I'm going to have you guys research a few of those different organizational structures and methods used globally in this next activity. So that about does it for today. I'm going to have you, because that's what we're using, Desire to Learn. That's our class website, is on Desire to Learn. Yeah. See, Unit 1, Activity 6 on Desire to Learn. So go through the content there. Most of it will just be review from this lesson. There's not a lot to do on the assignments there. I already mentioned in one of the the news postings there that I'm going to give it until next Monday because of the upcoming test next week. Next week we have a test next Monday. I'll be giving out a review on Wednesday for the test. There will be multiple choice, some true and false, and some short answer. Most of it's going to be, you'll be able to find everything on the website right now. So if you go through the lessons that I've posted, the assignments that you did, like it's all there. And the review, don't worry. You'll be fine. Pardon me? No, the review is a guide. I want everyone to know that a review, when you get a test review or an exam review, it is a guide. Okay, we try to make them as vague as possible because the worst thing about giving out a review is you look at the first line of the review, study that exact thing, put a little check mark next to it, and then go to the next thing. It's not good. It's not how to do it. Yeah, I'll give you a review so that you don't miss anything. Okay. Okay, as I said, today's work isn't going to be due until Monday, March 7th. And then I want to make sure you also have a look at the textbook, review sections 2.2, 2.3, 2.4. Have a look at those. That'll all be just review from what we did today and on Wednesday. And then also have a look at section 1.5, which is barriers to international trade, and that's what we're going to be talking about this coming Wednesday. No, this is the first time I've mentioned it. Okay, so that's it. All right, guys, thank you. And to let anyone know still listening at home that if you have any questions, I've got the live chat up, so you can use the live chat. Best way to get a hold of me during class is the live chat or through the email on Desire to Learn. Okay, have a great night.